Okay, great. Hi, guys. Welcome. My name is Retabile Molefe, and I'm the founder and creative director of the fashion brand Mosiima. I'm so excited to have you all here with me today. I'll be taking you through the design process of making a collection, and in this collection, it's the missing middle, my second collection. So yeah, I'm super excited. I think if you're here, you may be someone that's wanted to start a fashion brand but doesn't necessarily know where to start. So I hope that once this is done, you'll get the information that you need to kind of go on with the process of starting a collection. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Let me share my screen. Mm, Um, okay, cool. Um, cool. Y'all let me know if you can see my screen. Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay, that's so like I'm so nervous. Um, cool. So let's get started. No, man. Sorry, guys. I just want to be able to see myself at the same time. Cool. I hope you guys can see everything because now I won't be able to see if you guys have any questions. So can you guys see the presentation?
Yes, we can see it. You didn't see our thumbs up.
Okay, cool, guys. Okay, let me start again. Hi, guys. My name is Rotabile Mosiima Molefe, and I'm the founder and creative director of the fashion brand Mosiima. I'm so excited to have you guys here today in my very first masterclass, the Design Diaries, the making of the Missing Middle collection. So, yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoy. And at the end, there will be time for you to like give me and ask me some questions. So, yeah, let's get started. So the content that we'll be covering today is just going a little brief introduction about me. Okay, what is that? I feel like a lecturer. Um, it means okay, dankos. Okay, cool. Let's go back into it. So the content that we'll be covering today is a brief introduction about me. What you finding? Okay. Yay, more people. Okay. Hi, everyone that just joined me. Actually, just started, so you're not too late. Cool. So, as I mentioned before, for those who just joined, hi, my name is Ratabilo Mosiima Molefe, the founder and creative director of the fashion brand Mosiima. I'm so excited to have you guys here today. This is my very first masterclass where I'll be talking you guys through the creation of a fashion brand. So, not a fashion brand, man, a fashion collection. It's a masterclass, a design diary, as I call it, the making of the missing middle, which is my very second collection. So, yeah. The content that we'll be covering today is a brief introduction about me, what goes into finding inspiration, designing, which is the sketching and the pattern making, fabric selection, sewing, photo shoot, promotion, costs, and lessons that I've learned since starting my fashion brand more than anything. So yeah, guys, if you guys have any questions, please do write them down. And at the very end, I will be answering them. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So, hi, as I mentioned, Ratabile Mosiima Molefe, and I'm a 24-year-old fashion designer and the founder and creative director of Mosiima, a South African fashion brand that creates bold, expressive, and one-of-a-kind garments for the youth. Rooted in identity, sustainability, and individuality, Mosiima offers ready-to-wear and bespoke pieces that bridges avant-garde and everyday wear, offering unique designer-made clothing that celebrates individuality at an accessible price. I hold a Bachelor of Arts degree in fashion design and a Bachelor of Arts honors in fashion as well from Study School of Fashion. With over a year of industry experience, I've worked across women's wear design, production, copywriting, and as a virtual assistant, building a well rounded understanding of what it takes to run a brand in today's fashion landscape. Since launching Mosiima in August 2024, I've designed and produced two collections: 1111, which is my debut collection, which transformed pain into beauty, marking a new beginning, and The Missing Middle, a collection that gives voice to South Africans' overlooked youth navigating university life, financial uncertainty, and self expression. Operating as a made to order brand, Mosiima prioritizes sustainable practices, producing each piece in house to ensure a perfect fit while reducing waste and dead stock. Great stuff. So, yeah, the first process that comes into creating a collection is finding inspiration. So for me, I always start from a place of truth. I draw inspiration from my lived experiences because when things get hard, and they will, that personal collection becomes your fuel. Designing something just because it's trendy or profitable for others can feel exciting at first. But when you're tired, stressed, and doubting yourself, it won't be enough to keep you going. That's why I always encourage designers to create from their point of view. Design something you truly want to see exist in the world, something that would matter to you, even if no one understands it yet. So when it comes to the missing middle, this refers to students from households with incomes between 350,000 and 600,000 rand per year. These students are often too wealthy to qualify for NSFAS, but still struggle to afford higher education. So I've lived within the missing middle. I still live within the missing middle. So I understand the anxiety that comes with outstanding fees, not knowing, not even being able to see your marks, not knowing if you'll be able to go back to university next year. So this collection was easy for me to build from because it's something that I have lived myself. So yeah, when I came to that, I decided to divide it into four categories. So namely, the high schooler, the varsity student, the graduate, and the working class. Once I had the concept, I started collecting references mostly on Pinterest, saving images, textures, uniform silhouettes. I also write a lot when I'm developing a collection. I scribble notes, phrases, quotes, and emotions. It's not always linear, but it helps me track how I'm feeling and yeah, what I want the collection to say. So yeah, now the design process, right? So now you have your inspiration, you've built your vision board, whether that's through Pinterest, your journal, and or a collage, it's time to move into the design phase. What I've learned is taking your time when it comes to the inspiration stage, as it's important because it naturally informs how your design is going to be. So you don't even have to be, don't be afraid to be flexible when it comes to this. You don't have to be rigid because your design direction and what you start with and what you're going to end with will probably be two different things, but it's important to lay a very strong foundation. So yeah, let me talk you through the looks and how I translated each category into a design. So starting off with the high school student. So she's someone that's applying for NSFAS, but obviously can't get in because her mother makes too much money. So what is the first thing that comes to mind when you think of a high school student? It's obviously uniform. That's the universal image of high school in South Africa. So I leaned into this aesthetic: school shirts, pleated skirts, ties, but reimagined it with a twist. Instead of being literal, I added a corset to break the uniformness of it. I wanted it to feel unfamiliar, but also bold and empowering. So, as I've mentioned, here is one of the reference images that I use. So I pick apart the motifs that exist within that category. So if, for instance, maybe you're designing a collection based on what can I say, uniform, like the working class, and maybe like, yeah, what do they call them? The working girl, for instance, you know what I'm saying? So you might do it literal blazers, skirts, ties, whatever, or you might deconstruct that to make it your own. So once I have like the inspiration and the images, I go on to just sketch. So as you can see here, originally I had a cardigan, but I couldn't find jersey fabric. So I decided to add the corset instead. So now the second part is the varsity student, someone caught between newfound freedom and financial strain. In university, you go from wearing uniform all the time to having to dress up, but while still being on a tight budget. For this look, I decided to make something staple, man. Like, a nice two-piece denim outfit is something that kind of lasts within a varsity student's wardrobe. And I feel like if you exist within the missing middle, you kind of look for items like that. Um, sorry, I heard a sound. Okay, is everything okay? Okay, cool. So you kind of look for items that are that can last within your wardrobe, that are durable and that are mainly affordable. So that's what I did next is sketch out that denim item over here, as you can see, is look two. Once that is done, I went to the graduate look. So when it comes to the graduate, this is the only times people intentionally splurge on their items. So creating a bespoke outfit as it is a very special day. So I wanted to create something that was kind of like a staple look for a lot of graduate girlies. So yeah, and this is what I decided to sketch out over here. And then the last one was the working class. So now you're finally able to afford everything you've ever wanted, explore your style, but still balancing self-expression with professional expectation. This look was initially a suit, but I had to pivot, and that's okay, especially if you do have enough time. So yeah. As you can see, here it is. So as you can see, I had 6 sketches initially, but as I was designing, I decided actually let me, reduce the amount of designs that I'm actually gonna make. So yeah. So now, so a tip that I can give you guys is that even if you can't sketch, you don't have to be the best sketch artist or designer and all of these things. You can, if you can't draw, just write it out. Okay. So when I started this collection, as I said, I did start with 6 looks. Originally, I wanted a big drop, but from my experience with my debut collection, which had 11 looks and 18 pieces, I realized that it didn't result in as much orders as I wanted to, and it did kind of cost me a lot. So I then focused on honing my collection into more staple items and pieces that were strong on their own. So yeah, once your sketches and design notes are done, it's time for the pattern making process. Arguably one of the most technical and essential parts of the design process. But before that, if you're going to do it the actual technical route, you have to create technical drawings, also known as CADs. These are flat detail representations of your designs and show construction elements like seams, stitching, zips, and fastenings. They're especially useful when you're working with a pattern maker or a production team because they communicate exactly how a garment should be constructed. So this is for something totally separate that I'm busy with now, and I made CAD. So these are the CAD. So it's kind of like the actual formal technical illustration of your garment. As you can see, here's the zip over there. But because I make stuff myself, I literally just go from sketch to the pattern. So yeah, it's easier for me because I don't necessarily stress as much, and I know how the garment is going to look like in the end, if I'm making sense. So I'm able to create a pattern just from the sketch. But some people really do need the technical drawing. And I think if maybe I am to mass produce in the future, that will be something that's very essential, especially if you're communicating it to someone else. So yeah, but firstly, guys, what are patterns? Patterns are the paper or digital templates used to cut out your fabric before sewing your garment. Think of them as puzzle pieces that come together to form a final outfit. They determine everything from fit, silhouette to movement. You can make your own patterns if you're trained and confident in your drafting skills, or you can hire a pattern maker to help you bring these designs to life. Some pattern makers also offer sample services, which is a major major plus because they already understand the technical side and can help you troubleshoot early on. So my number one tip when it comes to patterns is that please do finish your patterns before going to your fabric shopping, as well inform how much fabric you actually need to buy, saving you time, money, and stress. So now the next part, the fabric sourcing. So let me explain exactly why I recommend you do your patterns before going to get your fabric. Patterns show you the exact size and shape of each piece in your garment, which naturally tells you how much fabric you need without the information. So without this information, you either overbuy or underbuy. And trust me, both of those situations are so frustrating. For my first collection, I kind of bought 10 meters of fabric just in case. Just in case orders came flying. Spoiler alert, they did not. So now I have this random stretch fabric just chilling in my studio. So learn from me, buy only what's needed for your current job or collection. So stay present. So tips for smart fabric buy. Okay, cool. So where was I? Tips for smart fabric buying. So know what you're buying. Go in with a clear breakdown. So for instance, you know that look one is gonna cost, it's gonna be 2 meters of fabric, look two is gonna be this much of fabric, and so on. This clarity will help you budget, plan, and stay focused. Touch, feel, and compare. I feel like that's the only way you can learn different types of fabrics, especially if you are beginning. So yeah, go into different stores and see like, okay, denim feels like this at Woolworths, denim feels like this at the fabric store. So what denim, and even your clothes as well, like you can just touch and feel like, oh, okay, cool. This is the type of fabric that I'm looking for. So you want a shirt, stick to breathable and structured fabrics like cotton or linen. And if you want to use silk, be warned that silk rolls and frays. So your design relies on structure. Silk might not be the best pick. So yeah, don't be so stuck on like, okay, but for this shirt, I wanted to use this fabric. Rather let the fabric kind of communicate what it wants to be, which is something that I actually do that I didn't mention, is that I kind of let the fabric decide on what it wants the garment to be like, because you can't force the fabric to be something that it doesn't want to be, because it'd be very frustrating. But yeah, and set a budget and stick to it. Fabric stores are very tempting. There's so much beautiful prints, textures, and suddenly your whole concept goes out the window. For a 4 to 5 piece collection, I would recommend maybe budgeting around a K to 2K, depending on the fabrics and trims. So yeah, setting a budget is also a very, very important thing. And yeah, also be open to pivoting. You may go in there thinking you're going to get this type of fabric, and then suddenly you fall in love with something else, and that's okay. Sometimes the fabric speaks louder than you plan. Let it guide you, but don't let it derail you. Great. And then my go-to stores, fabric stores in Pretoria. There's an MHC World in town, which is very like, I love it compared to the Metro in Mainland because that's very expensive. And my favorite one is actually Home Hyper City. There's so much fabric. There's literally so much fabric, and it's so affordable as well. But a fabric store that will always have a special place in my heart is Chamdo. Like, I love Champions in Joburg. So yeah, it's amazing. So yeah. So now once you have your fabric, it is now time for the part that I think a lot of people like or hate. You neither here nor there, is the cutting and sewing. Great. So, let me be upfront with you from the beginning. Sewing takes longer, cutting takes longer than you think. So it's so easy to underestimate how long cutting is going to take you. So please do give yourself enough time. I feel especially when it comes to the production process of your garments, give yourself more time than you actually need, so you can also have time to pivot. So yeah, when I was sourcing fabric for my collection, I actually ended up buying less than I initially expected. I made a conscious decision to be intentional with this collection, not just creatively, but financially too. So I reused some denim that I had from my previous collection. The shirt and the corset for look one was something that had already made. Yeah, so just like little stuff like look at the fabric that you have and how you can utilize it. Okay, is there? Okay. Is anyone else's slides not showing? Oh my gosh, if I was yapping with no slides, that would have been so embarrassing. Anyone? Can you guys see the slides? Can you thumbs up, thumbs down? Okay, minutes. Okay, baby, Michelle. Okay, cool. Hey. Okay, let me do this. Let me save it. Is it fine if I save it and then just send it? Maybe let me do that. But that's also gonna take time. Let me think. Okay, cool. Let me just stop sharing my screen and then just send it here so you guys can also scroll through as I'm busy. Give me a second. Hi, so it's just downloading. I don't know, do any of you have, maybe can make this like a little mini break? Do you guys have any questions? Am I going too fast? Am I doing well? Like, if maybe any of you guys have questions, because it's quite a big file. Hopefully I'll be able to share it here, but I think I will. Let me see. Hey, man, why can you say Sorry, guys, I should have done this instead. Let me do this. Hmm. Um, Paper face. Okay, let me share the link instead of sharing. Um, Natasha, can you please let me know if you're able to view the link. And anyone else, you can maybe also follow on the link if you want to, but yeah, there's a link over there. It might take long to load because of the images and stuff, but you let me know and then we can continue. Okay, perfect. Let's just give it a few minutes and then we can continue. Oopsie. Keep going. Okay, cool. Yeah. Let me share my screen again. Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. I hope you guys can see my screen. Thumbs up if you can, and then we can continue with I think we're talking about sewing. Okay, thanks, Riri. Um, okay, I'm in the wrong thing. Cool. We're here. No, we're by sewing. Okay, great stuff. So, yeah, I don't know where I was, but I think I was talking about how you have to be intentional when it comes down to, yeah, fabric sourcing and all of those things and sewing. And yeah, and that's something that I really wanted to do, especially with this collection, given how much time and money I had wasted in my previous collection. Yeah, another thing is that you really have to structure your time when it comes to sewing. If you're making garments yourself, set a realistic sewing schedule. Aim for at least one look a week or even 2 weeks, or break it down to 3 days per look, cutting and sewing if you're on a tighter timeline. This gives you enough breathing room to adjust when things don't go as planned. For instance, I had planned to make a plaid shirt for looks 1 and 2, but as I started sewing, it was just not coming together. And I ended up pivoting and using a shirt I already had finished from a previous collection. That decision saved me time, money, and stress. Another thing is that if you're working with a sample maker and seamstress, so these are for the people that you're not going to sit at the sewing machine yourself, you're actually just going to give the design to someone else, is that if someone is helping you with construction, this is where tick packs and patterns come in. So you have to provide them with clear instructions on how many meters of each fabric go to each piece. Label things, so like 2 meters for this shirt, for this pleated shirt, skirt, etc., and give them patterns cards or reference garments, whatever helps communicate your vision clearly. And yeah, be organized here, really helps reduce mistakes and ensures that your final garment actually matches your design. So when it comes to like my final tips for the sewing process is trim your threads. Little details like this make pieces feel clean and finished. Be happy with your final garment. If you're not proud of it, take time to adjust. For me, the final garment also acts as my sample. So yeah, I take notes here. So like next time I'll fix the hemline, next time I'll fix the neckline, I'll just use a different sip. You can even see with this picture over here, bro, my head was so big, it couldn't fit in the shirt. So it's something that I know now. So okay, maybe just increase that neckline so it can fit better, or maybe add some elastic or something. So yeah, this way I'm constantly refining my collections without also wasting time and materials. So, okay, perfect. Now that you've cut, sewn, and survived the chaos, you have officially done with a collection. And now it's time to bring it to life through one of the most important parts and parts that I love, but it takes so much money, the photo shoot. Great. So, the photo shoot is definitely one of the most exciting processes when it comes to the design process in general, making a collection. You're finally seeing your collection come to life, from the designing, the posting, the sewing. Okay. Hmm. Okay, cool. Okay, perfect. So we were now talking about the photo shoot part. So yeah, this is the most exciting part. So you first start off with finding the right photographer. Start by searching on Instagram or asking friends in your network. For my first shoot, I found the photographer through my best friend who is here today. Hey, Riri. Thank you. And the second one was someone I connected with on LinkedIn. So don't be afraid to reach out. Many creators are open to collaborations, especially if the concept is exciting. Okay. And guys, this is going to be such an honest thing, an honest video. Photography is very expensive. I think out of all the processes, ew, guys, yeah. So my first shoot, it was 11 looks. I spent 12,000. My latest one, the missing middle, I spent 4. And it's definitely an investment, but in the future, I do not think I will be spending that much on pictures in general. You know, the pictures are amazing and I love them and I can use them and reuse them. But I will either find a best friend that is a photographer or I'll learn to take pictures myself. Because I think in the whole process, the dealing with photographers is one of my least favorites. You're constantly stressing and chasing after your pictures. And yeah, and I think that's when you also realize that you've invested so much time into creating a collection, but sometimes people don't match that energy. Oopsie. Um, okay. I think we're good now. Let me just see. Okay, cool. So yeah, so I think it's definitely, oh, did I hear a message? Okay. Okay, cool. So yeah, so before any photo shoot, I think the best part is to start off with a mood board and yeah, just get pictures off of Pinterest and create a mood board so your photographer can better understand what you're looking for. So the style of photography, film, editorial, studio, or street, the poses, angles, or even lighting references. Mm. Or even lighting references. This also helps, especially if you have multiple models working on one shoot, and or if you're also the one that's modeling on the shoot. So if you're somewhere else, like the photographer can kind of, do that while you are, busy with something else. They can be the ones that are just focusing on creating the vision that you're looking for. So when it came to the concept of the missing middle shoot, I was going for a film style, school inspired aesthetic, something nostalgic and raw. I feel like the photographer executed this beautifully, capturing the back in the day feel I was going for. It matched the theme of the collection so well and visually expressed the story behind it. While the photo shoot was visually stunning and perfect for Instagram, it is not e-commerce friendly. You know, you can barely see how this denim jean looks like. You know, even here I have like an extra seam and like, the zippers on the side and all of these things. So I think that's one thing you should consider when you also do your photo shoot. So for brands, brand telling and engagement, artistic shots like this are very amazing. But for sales and online stores, you need to be clear, well-lit shots that show the front, back, and details of the garments. And this is the direction that I went for with my 1111 collection. As you can see, the lighting was beautiful. Everything was stunning and it's perfect for my website. These are the only like my 1111 collection are the only ones that are actually on my website. So yeah, you could use the garments like for like an online store, like I mentioned. However, the photographer did not take any back shots. And I think it was also a fumble on my end. And it's also very important. So also the consumer can actually see like, oh, how does the back of the garment look like? So yeah, my takeaway with this is that plan with your end goal in mind. If it's sales, shoot e-commerce like this one. If it's more storytelling, get creative, or ideally you can also do both. So now that you're done with your photo shoot and have the images, it's time to plan your rollout and promotion. Let's get into how I approach this in the next part. So I think promotion and rollout are definitely my favorite parts. Anything that comes with marketing, I'm literally your girl. So initially, when it came to this collection, I wanted to post a look a day, accompany each look with a video of me explaining the look. Start with a brand video, setting the tone of the collection. But as I mentioned earlier, guys, photographers, they're gonna be the death of me actually. So they don't always deliver as they promise. So as I said, this also you just have to pivot. Okay. Hmm. Cool. So as I mentioned, photographers will always be photographers, guys. So you have to pivot. So I had to, thankfully, when I was developing this collection, I had an intern from Studio helping me with the production process. So she captured some amazing behind the scenes videos while I was sewing, working on the collection. So instead of waiting on the missing content, I thought, why not start with the BTS video of me creating the collection? With me creating the collection. So it turned out beautifully raw, real, and it was a perfect way to roll out authentic to the Mosiima journey. So after that, my posting strategy now has been to post a look a day. The pivoted plan became this. So now it's a look a day accompanied with these graphics. So initially it's going to be like a look and then a video of me like sitting and explaining, oh guys, this is the look and this, that, and the third. And another way that I'm promoting and rolling out my collection is through this Design Diaries, this video that you guys are watching now, this Google Meet that you guys are on now. So yeah, guys, really do be open-minded into how you promote your brand. Don't rigid yourself more than anything. And yeah, so another thing that I really did do is PR and getting featured in like publications. I joined a WhatsApp group where a lot of creators are in. So like if I posted something on my Instagram, I'll just like, hey guys, can you please go watch this? And yeah, I messaged fashion pages on Instagram as well. And I emailed different fashion platforms as well, like attaching like a little write-up like, hey, introducing who I am, introducing the brand, and attaching a Google Drive link with images of like, okay, this is Mosiima. I've attached a Google Drive link over here with images of the collection of the missing middle. And yeah, so none of them replied actually. So I was so shocked last week Friday when I woke up and essay creators had reposted us. And yeah, this was such an affirming thing. So yeah, guys, just really do put yourself out there and message as many people as you want. If you're messaging 50 people and one responds, you're one step closer to wherever you're going. So yeah. And yeah. So now what's next? Obviously, you've promoted and everything. The next part will obviously be putting and uploading everything on your website. So Ibile, let me show you now. Oopsie. Uploading everything on your website. So this is the website that I had created for the 1111 collection. And this website took me time, but as I've mentioned as well, you can see how e-commercey these pictures are. So it's also understanding like, oh, is this a collection to be sold, like I mentioned before, or is it just a collection that, you just want people to see? And if someone wants to buy it, they can. If they don't, that's perfectly fine as well. So right now, when it comes to the missing middle, I'm thinking maybe doing like a DM for a price type of thing. So if you want to order, if you see something that you like, I can sell it to you. So yeah, but I don't know, maybe I'll change my mind next week. So yeah, now that we've covered the rollout, it's time we talk about costs. And then yeah, finally, lessons that I've learned since launching both collections. This is such a cringy part for me, but like I just decided I'm going to be as transparent as possible. So, yeah, let's talk about money. And I know this is a very awkward conversation for a lot of creators, and I definitely feel the same way. But the truth is, it's also important to talk about cost, especially when you're starting a brand. The Missing Middle collection, I was really intentional about how much I wanted to spend compared to the 1111. And I didn't, as 1111, I didn't get my return on investment as literal as it seems, but I got it in a different way. So, for instance, I didn't get orders for the collection itself, but that allowed people to now start ordering custom orders. So sometimes how you think something is going to be, it might turn out to be totally differently. And like I said, just allow yourself to pivot. And this has allowed me actually to open up to bespoke orders or some what I never thought I'd actually do custom orders. But it's a process that I've learned to enjoy. So yeah, let's talk about money. 1111, the shoot, the photo shoot. So that was 11 looks. No, actually, it's 12 looks because I also took pictures, two per look. So like 24 images and videos as well. And that cost me 12K. I had to rent out Dia Studios for the whole day. I don't know if it was between, I think it was around four, if I'm not mistaken, 4K for the full day. And I had to pay my models as well, which is a K each, and then cover transport from Pretoria to Joburg and plus food for the team that I had on that day. So you can do the math. It's a lot of money, and I did not make the money back. But I did, but I didn't. I did. I don't know. It depends. It depends if you're looking at the monetary money itself, maybe not. But if you're looking at the launch of the brand and the launch of Mosiima and maybe the exposure, maybe I did. Maybe in the long run it will come back to me. So is it something that I regret? Not necessarily, because I think this is something that I really wanted to do. I really wanted to start a brand, and this is how I wanted my brand to start off. But at least now I know what to do and what not to do when it comes to stuff like this. And yeah, with the Missing Middle, like I said, my budget was very strict. I am now broke. So I'm joking. No, I'm not joking. I'm not. But anyways, photography was 4K, and I didn't end up paying everything because I also didn't receive the full product, as I said. And yeah, I also paid my model around 800 Rand because it's not like a full day like the other girls. And I spent 500 Rand on transport to Joburg and food, 500 Rand as well. So yeah, and as you can see, guys, everything that I've mentioned, I'm just mentioning what you guys see, the output stuff that you guys see, but I haven't even touched on fabric costs, how much fabrics cost, and all of these things. So that's also something that you should also keep in mind is that, guys, this thing is a lot. So when you also do, and I feel like as someone that's a designer that makes stuff myself, I'm able to actually like cut costs a lot compared to if you're to get someone else to sew the stuff for you. That's why I feel like I do believe my prices are a bit reasonable at the moment, because of this, compared to someone else that's outsourcing their garments and all of these things. Yeah, so imagine there's also fabric costs in that. Maybe like for the Missing Middle, I sold everything myself and it's a lot of items. But like I said, I bought fabric in bulk and all of this, all of this, all of this. And then also the same with the Missing Middle. At least now I had fabric that was left over. So yeah. So now when it comes to pricing and costing of your garments, like how to go about pricing your garments, this is kind of uh system that I use. I don't know if it's the most accurate as one, but it's just an example. So let's say, for instance, a fabric for a dress costs me 100 Rand. This is just so the fabric, but like this is like a basic dress, like just a basic, like a basic. I think even let's use an example. I think I did make that cost like that, if I'm not mistaken. Hmm. Um, yeah, it'd be like so let's take this dress for instance. Let's take this dress for instance. Um, so for instance, let's say fabric and everything that I need for it cost me 100 Rand, right? And then let's say my hourly labor rate is 200 Rand. And let's say this is gonna take me 3 hours to make. So that's 600 Rand. So 600 Rand plus 100 Rand equals to 700 Rand, which gives you the cost of the dress itself. So yeah, really do stuff in a way that makes sense to you. So imagine if it's someone else. Obviously, if I also had a seamstress, maybe my stuff would have been cheaper because their rates are a bit lower. But still no, because I'm still paying someone to make the garment for me. But anyways, so but when it comes to bespoke items, right, that's a bit more expensive because the labor of it does cost a bit more and is a bit more than a ready to made, like just a straight cut dress. So let's say my hourly rate or my daily rate is, they say, a K or 1.5, and they say this thing is going to take me like 2 days, then that means it's 3K. And now you haven't even counted fabric on that as well. Do you understand what I'm saying? So yeah, I think at first you guys are not, it's gonna happen. You are gonna undercharge regardless of how you're gonna think about it. But like I said, it's important to pivot. Just pivot when you're supposed to pivot, charge more when you're supposed to charge more, charge less when you're supposed to charge less. But I've started an inside LVMH course, which I signed up for. And they say something very important is that you need to build a reputation before you charge higher prices. And I think that's a lot of things that young designers and small brands are forgetting now. So big brands can charge the way that they have because they put in the work and earn the reputation through consistency and credibility. But right now, if you're just starting out, it's more important on focusing on building trust and loyalty before you start hiking your prices. And yeah, guys, if there's one thing I've learned more than anything as well, is that you're not just a designer, you're also a business owner. So maybe me as a designer, I'm like, oh, but my thing costs is supposed to cost, let's say, 2.5, but does it make sense for the business to charge that thing at 2.5? Does the business need to charge it more because you need to pay rent, electricity, fabric, all of these things, Wi-Fi? There's so many things that come with running a brand that a lot of people don't see. So yeah. And to close it off, I just decided to go on lessons that I've learned since creating this collection and my first collection. I started my brand 9 months ago, so it's just a little bit over 9 months. Is that, you know, what can I say? You start off with this vision of just being a designer, especially when you're from fashion school. You're excited about the creativity, the aesthetics, the storytelling, but quickly you learn that you're also running a business, like I mentioned. So, yeah, I'm grateful to be in this position. I'm grateful to be creating what I am creating, and I don't take it lightly. And I'm incredibly thankful for my parents for giving me the space to try and the opportunity and resources to be running the brand that I am today. But if there's one thing I want you all to take away from this, is that it's all up to you, on the days when there are no sales, on the days you send quotes and invoices and people ghost you, on the days when you post and post and post and the engagement just isn't there. Even on those days, it's still up to you to keep showing up. One of the hardest truths I've faced, and maybe some of you could relate to this too, is that your brand is a direct reflection of the effort you're putting in. And yes, sometimes you're doing everything right, and still the sales don't come, the momentum slows down, and you start to doubt yourself. And here's the thing, you're planting seeds. You don't water a plant today and expect it to bloom tomorrow. You stay consistent, you trust the process, you keep showing up, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Because one day it will bloom, not on your timeline, but when it's meant to. I'm still learning to trust that, to believe that even when it's tough, all of this is just building towards something greater. Some days it's hard to stay positive, but I keep on praying to God and believing that this journey will pay off. And I hope it does pay off soon. So thank you so much to listening to me talk and talk and talk, and giving me space to reflect on what this collection really means to me and what it means to be running a fashion business. I truly hope that something I said today helped you and inspired you in some way. So yeah, I would love to open the floor for questions, comments, and if you guys want to give me a round of applause, y'all can do that too. But yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Woo. Do, 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 do. um, ooh. Okay, cool. Brazy Studios, you can go. Crazy, you can unmute. I don't know if you have a question, as it may by mistake.
Hey there, absolutely love your work. You're truly an inspiration. I just wanted to find out what has been the most challenging aspect about creating this collection and how did you overcome it? Do you have any tips for someone who is interested in creating something truly meaningful and impactful just as you have?
Oh, thank you so much for that question. That's such a lovely question. I think maybe the most challenging part of creating this is maybe this to start. I think the start is the most toughest more than anything because you're gonna overthink and overthink and overthink and overthink, and you kind of gonna overthink yourself into a hole. This is a collection that has been on my mind since last year actually, and then I think it's better to just give yourself a deadline. So you're gonna tell yourself, May, I am releasing Noma Ganja and I have to release a collection. So I think also the vulnerability and kind of opening up, because this is a very, I don't want to say sensitive, but I think a lot of the time when people, let's say, necessarily look at me or people maybe that I went to high school with or whatever, they're like, oh, Rita is for money or whatever the case is. But now it's like missing middle. She was struggling to pay her school fees. Like, what? Little things like that. So I think more than anything was the start and being vulnerable more than anything. But I think sometimes it's bigger than you. One thing that I've learned with design and creating a collection is that you see, when it was just me and this collection and talking to my friends about it and all of these things, it just existed within me. But once I release it, it doesn't belong to me. It's not the world. And I understand that this is no longer my collection, the world's collection. So yeah,
Thank you so much. That answers my question.
thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Questions? How guys? One question, nothing. Nothing. Thank you, Riri.
Hey, Mosiima, and everyone.
Hey, girl.
What a beautiful presentation.
Thank you, Faye.
Um,
Thank you.
I think my question is now that you have, learned um, basically things from both your collections. Um, what would be your way forward now? Since you now know things being on, like if you created and everything like that, so what's your way forward in terms of creating?
That's a good question. Thank you, Charms.
Hi.
Wow, that's actually so interesting because I feel like especially when you're creating anything, you're in such a go, 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 go mood. You just want to finish this quick. 11, 11, you're finishing. It's the miss in middle, it's finishing. But I think now it's maybe taking time. I think I've mentioned this to you before, is that I really do think after this one, I will be maybe taking a break from maybe creating, but not creating to like outwardly, if I'm making sense, and maybe creating within myself. So it might be maybe releasing one look a month, for instance, and just, yeah, I think, guys, it's very expensive, this thing here, and I think that's something like a lot of us don't talk about, is that it's very pricey. Like, even if I were to think of doing something now, like just the money thing, young, you know what I'm saying? But I really do think, because, oh, one thing as well that I kind of realized yesterday, because I was watching this other I'm in this course at LVMH, and I don't know what else I was watching, but I think I'm also kind of realizing the intentionality that you also need to have when you're building a brand, because we also are building brands more than anything. So I think maybe that's kind of where I am right now, is that okay, but really, 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 what brand do I want to build now? You know what I'm saying? What vision do I want to build? Because some people, they release collections, but they don't get sales from those, but they're still making money. So how are those people doing that? Because I think maybe I'm kind of falling into that puddle a little, if I'm making sense. So like, what type of brand am I building? Do I want to build a brand that really just reflects stories, African stories, South African stories, my lived experiences? Do I want to build a brand that the youth, that everyone can support and buy from, and just consume, do you want to build, so I think it's really just that, like, okay, really, 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 what is Mosiima. But for now, today, as I'm speaking to you, I love this. I love what I'm doing here now. I just love educating and learning and just doing what I need to do. I think that's the thing. I want to stop being in my head. I want to just, if I'm doing this today, I'm doing it. If I'm doing this tomorrow, I'm doing that. So, yes.
Thanks for that. That was very insightful, and I really enjoyed your presentation. And I just love also the honest answers.
Thank you so much, Yuri. I really appreciate it, friend.
No worries.
Any questions? I'll be like a lecturer. I'm just gonna call some of you out. Hey, if none of you wanna ask, I'll just call out a name. Accomodita, accomodita. How guys? Yeah. So any questions? Thank you, Karabo. The floor is yours, live.
Hi, thank you so much for your presentation. My question to you is, are there any artists or designers that have influenced your work the most? And in which way have they?
Thank you. I like that question. I like that question. Wow. I think because I think like since graduating or maybe even in school, I'm a person that likes to research and search different designers and what they do and their background and all of those things. And I know if you know me, you know what I'm gonna say. It's Tebe Magugu. You know, Tebe, like yo, Tebe inspires me so much. Like he inspires me so much. More than anything, because his brand is built on storytelling and keeping our stories as South Africans and Africans active and alive more than anything. So I think a lot of designers or a lot of brands have lost that art of storytelling or wanting to tell a story more than anything. So I think he's really maybe influence the way that I approach fashion or the way maybe I want to be as a designer more than anything. And I will sprinkle Wanda Luputo in there as well for obvious reasons. Karabo, gore umlelo, gore kahelo. But yeah. But yeah, I think definitely who else? Wait, let me think. Oh, Virgil, especially with this presentation here. I think as I was busy, because like I said, I was busy with it in the AMs and then I finished it off with it today. And if dude, I'm gonna be emotional, but I really love Virgil Abloh. He's one of my favorite designers because more than anything, he wanted to educate the youth and educate younger designers. And I think that's what I've always wanted to be as a designer as well, is that I want to share my resources, you know. Not a lot of people can afford to go to fashion school, you know, but like if you can sit down and tell a person how you started your collection, then do that, you know. If you can answer someone's question about if they should do fashion or not, then do that. You can go to Virgil's things. He's done lectures before. He has so many presentations online. Even like there's this website where he literally breaks down exactly how to start a fashion brand from start to finish. So I think it's just that I think the educational aspect of wow is something that I like. Thank God. So yeah, guys, any if there's any more questions, if there's questions. Are you willing to work with small photographers like myself? You would obviously direct and oversee the whole thing. So your target is me. How happy gonna also get shy. Hi Kaho. You know, definitely girl. Definitely. I think one thing, even with this collection itself, give it all open, give very much open. You know, I don't want to work with the same model, I don't want to work with the same photographer. Our GL is the same person. So even this guy. La I'm disappointed. He's someone that hit me up on LinkedIn, like, hey Rita, I saw you released 11/11. And he hit me up last year. Like I saw you released 11/11. You know, can I come forward? It was like, oh, okay, cool, I'll let you know. And I kinda only texted him this year, you know what I'm saying? So I even told him, like, oh dude, like I'll always have you in mind. If someone reaches out, maybe at that very time I might not be ready. I'm ready. I'll let you know, girl. So at least now I know okay, oh, available. Oh, hopefully, how charge mal like yo, but yeah, Brazy Studios, your turn again. This is so fun. Mm, Brazy. Okay. Hi,
Hey,
hi.
Mosima, do you plan on collaborating with other big brands in the future? And what is the next big step for your brand in terms of your product development process?
I like that. Um, I think I'd want to. That would be an amazing thing. Collaborating with a bigger brand. That would actually be so lovely. Hey, but I think it'll also depend on like what does that brand also bring to the vision of Mosima as well, if I'm making sense. So like, and how does it also align with my current target audience? So it's one thing is I'm collaborating with like Prada, but already my customers they don't want to buy my stuff. So why would they buy me if maybe I'm collaborating with Prada? I think maybe it will be a me thing more than anything, even like outside of the brand. But yo, that's how it is collaborating with Prada if I'm making sense. And I think the next big thing when it comes to my product development is that I do need a team. Hey, like even as I was doing this collection, like I was like, I can't sew by myself anymore. Like I really, really can't. I'm at a point where I do feel like I need the help. I really do feel like I need the help. And it will help as well because you can't also do things by yourself. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, thank you so much for that question.
Thank you for your answer. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Cool guys. Any questions? Any last questions? Isabasha, I'm going to open. Yes, 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 go rata. So now ask a question. You can unmute.
Oh, hi.
Hey.
I just wanted to ask what Sima means to you and if there's like a story behind it.
That's a nice question. What does Mosima mean to me? Ah, that's such a nice question, actually. I think Mosima means to me is like, I think a brand for the youth more than anything, you know? I think a lot of the times as Rona Basha, there's so many brands out there, but how can I say this? They don't necessarily cater to who we are. So like, you have your Mr. Price, you have these usual brands that I love. I'm wearing Mr. Price now, I'm wearing Ayana now. But like I don't feel like there's really, really a brand for the youth. The youth, hi, like you're likely gonna get what you want from Shein. So I really want a brand that like the youth can wear and celebrate and grow with more than anything. This is the dress that you wore to grad. This is the thing that you wore to whenever. Just where the youth can get all of the clothes that they need. I feel like it's a new wave, as the people would say, as the cool kids would say. I think Mosima is definitely a new wave of fashion. And I really hope that I am at the forefront of that new wave of South African fashion designers and stuff. And more than anything, I'm excited. I'm excited for this journey. I'm excited to be building what I'm building. I feel like even just talking, because it's the first time to rally the audience in Yana. So this is very exciting for me to be here yapping because it's something that's been in my heart and in my mind for so long. So I feel like yeah, man. Yeah, I'm excited. It's tough, guys. It really is tough starting a brand. Like I don't know how the next months are gonna look like for me, but I just feel like I'm so hopeful, I'm so faithful, and I feel like God will never place a dream in your heart, in your mind that you cannot achieve. And I think that's the only thing that's keeping me going. It's just that thing of like, you know what, girl, you got to do it. You got to, because you're not doing it for yourself, you're doing it for other generations of designers, you're doing it for other, like, guys, a lot of the time, like, a lot of fashion brands or fashion designers that we know today in South Africa are run by men. You know what I'm saying? The most successful ones, if I'm making sense. So I think it's just time. Maybe like or at least something so fresh. And hopefully I am that person. I'm still trying to figure out how, but hopefully I am that person. So yeah. Thanks for the question. So fun.
Thank you for your answer.
Yeah. Great. So any last questions? Does anyone have a question? Let's have a shy. Don't be shy. Don't be scared. There's no scary here. Oh, can't wait to say this one. Any questions? I'll give it a minute or two. But yeah, more than anything, guys, I'm so grateful and thank you so much to all of you that joined today. Yeah, this is something that I really, really, really wanted to do. This will be recorded, so it will be available on my YouTube hopefully tomorrow. And I'll also be posting the PDF on one of the groups that I'm in. But if you guys want the PDF or to it, I'll see you tomorrow. But yeah, guys, I'm very, very thankful and grateful. Of you guys just being part of this. Hopefully I can do this often actually. This is so nice. Just yapping and stuff. And also you guys taking time away. These schemes family day any generations and you guys are here looking at me. But yeah, thank you so much. And to all of you that joined. I don't know if anyone has a question. If not, we can wrap it up. Wrap it up. This was so fun. I actually want to take a picture. This is so cute. Eh, is that phone off? My phone is off. How am I? I wanted to take a picture when my phone is off. That's just on now. But yeah, guys, thank you so much. And I hope to see you. Oh, thank you, Natasha. I will. I'll definitely will, Shame. I definitely will. This is so fun. This is so fun. I'm just gonna wait for my phone to switch. And I don't know why it switched off. And I don't want to take the picture of my iPad. My iPad is dead. Oh, but that's still gonna be cute though. Tanzania. Oh, this is so cute. Mm. Oh, you're so cute. You're so cute. Okay. Thank you guys. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening and hopefully I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.
Thanks, Mosiima. Thank you.
Thanks, Yuri.
Bye. Love you.
Bye.
Bye, Natasha. Bye, Manette. Bye, Mpile. Bye, Khorata. Bye, Naledi. Bye, Karabo. And who's here? Bye, Raseho. Bye, Kaho. Bye, guys. Love you all so much. Bye. Oh, how do I stop this? Yay.